Thank you so much for joining me and these 3 bucks in the yard today for another pantry challenge video. We have joined up with Jessica from 3 Rivers Homestead for her 3 Rivers Pantry Challenge. I am no longer going grocery shopping. I've tied up all of that for the month of January, and now we are just living out of our pantry stores. So I'm going to share with you what's in my deep freezers and my refrigerator in the garage so that you can see the baseline, what we're working with. And then in my next video, I'll share with you some of what is in my pantry. Let's check out what we made to eat this week. Welcome back to Rouse Rising. Today we are eating up this banana bread that we made last week. We're going to have some of this for breakfast as well as some toast. This is my daily loaf of bread, and I've put some honey with some coconut oil on it for myself. And then we're also going to open up a can of peaches because the kids were not in the mood for any of the other fruit that we had. Look at these bananas. They need to be used up in another banana bread. So we're just going to go ahead and open up this can of peaches and stick it in a container. That way the kids can serve themselves up when they want some, and then the leftovers we can just store in the fridge. So I'll just go ahead and give you a tour right now. So in this deep freezer, as you can see, I've got some random milks. Aaron bought some chicken strips sometime a long time ago, so we're going to have to use through those. We also have this pizza right here, but I'm going to reposition everything. But right now I'll just kind of show you what we have in here. Okay, so we've got a bunch of chickens and things, so I'm going to get out one of those chickens to cook. And then we have a bunch of like sausage packages, deer meat packages, things like that down here. So this one says California deer steaks, so we'll grab one of those. We'll use those up. A friend of ours gave us some deer steak. Shout out to Lance for that. So then here we've got what's left of our bacon. We've got some sausage in there. We also have some grass-fed ground beef. Get that out. Down here in this box it says beef patties, but that's actually some deer sausage that is so insanely spicy none of us can tolerate it. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do about that, but yeah, down there we've got some deer sausage. Same thing over here. Aaron told the guy to make it hot. The guy made it way too hot, like intolerably hot. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put all this stuff back in here. This bag has random elk, salami, beef. There's a beef roast down there in the bottom. So this is just random cuts of like whole. Oh goodness, we have a huge elk roast. Okay, so this definitely, this needs to be eaten like ASAP. So we're gonna get that out. I've got this chicken. This does not have a date, but I know this was 2021, so that's gonna need to be used up soon. This I'm not too concerned about, but I am gonna go ahead and cook this elk roast and this deer this week. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna can this or what, but we'll get to that. All right, so my freezer, I haven't like told you guys this, but I've kind of been on a modified pantry freezer challenge for the last 2 months, trying to use up some of this stuff, but Aaron was eating a whole lot of ground beef. We do have a box of ground beef right there. But through this pantry challenge, so this freezer was actually all the way full. It was full to the tippy top. And so I've been slowly, since November, I've been slowly trying to like work through this. There's some California backstrap that we need to use up from deer. This is all of our liver, our butter. We've got lard. We have I froze some chicken broth because I just didn't feel like canning on that particular day, so I ended up freezing some. And then right here, these are frozen beans. So I might get out a pack of these to use this week. This right here is some more California deer meat. So we'll probably cook this up. We'll probably cook these up along with those steaks, and that'll be enough for our family since it's the same thing. And then you guys, I didn't realize how low I was getting on butter. Okay, so this is my butter stash. This is the remainder of the butter that I have for this pantry challenge. Y'all, we only have 4 pounds, 4, 5, 6. We only have 6.5 pounds of butter. That is not gonna last us very long because my kids and Aaron use butter for everything. So that is something that will be a challenge. I do have coconut oil and olive oil and lard. So we can use coconut oil, olive oil, and lard, but I hesitate to stop buying butter. This is all the butter that we have in the house, besides the butter that's out on the counter right now. So yeah, that's a challenge. That's part of the pantry challenge. All right, let's head over here to this other deep freezer. It's a whole situation in and of itself. All right, this is my other freezer. And in this freezer, I keep pig lard that we render, all of our pig fat that we render down into lard. Back here, I have a whole box of cheese. So that is a box of cheese. We've got some of our fruits in here. So we've got a couple spare bags of fruit, not many. This is all really old liver that I want to give to somebody's dog. Anyways, I still have tons of elderberries I need to work through. I still have tons of pig lard. I still need to work through elderberries. We've got a turkey down there. We've got a bag of flour right here. A pie that Aaron bought from a friend, but mostly it's lard. And then we have a few convenient items over here. We've got some shrimp. We've got some bread that's been in here for quite a while. So we've got a old bread. We've got a ham hock. We've got some convenience burritos. You guys might remember these from a grocery haul probably about 6 months ago. I bought some bean and cheese burritos. I thought school time was going to be hectic, so I was like, oh, let's get some burritos. We probably need to take these out and eat these as part of our pantry challenge because they're not going to be good for much longer. I can feel that there's like ice in there. These are some cashews because I'm dairy free and there's like cashew cream and that kind of stuff, so I can share that with you guys down on my down in my video's description. So we've got plenty of food to get us through this pantry challenge. We just need to get through it, right? Oh, I found some elk hamburger. That's a score. We were out of elk hamburger, so that's good. And now the fridge freezer tour. This one has mostly vegetables in it. You can see a little bit of ice cream and some chicken wings that need to go into the other freezer, but it's mostly just my vegetable stash. We do a lot of frozen vegetables so that nothing goes bad. Then over here, we've got our cheeses that we order from Azure Standard in bulk, but we haven't been eating a lot of cheese as a whole. These are those mini pie crusts I bought back in, I think it was like November time, and we still haven't used them. Then I stocked up on eggs. We've got some almond milk, some salami, some more eggs, and yogurt. Okay, when I say I have food stashed all over my house, I do. I have food stashed all over my house. So up here, I did a bunch of dry canning last spring, so I have 6 half-gallon mason jars full of beans and lentils and rice and all of those things. And then we come over here, we've got some more things. We've got some pancake, I believe that's pancake mix in there, and then a variety of beans and lentils in that. So that's all long-term, super long-term storage. You come down here and I got a bunch of random stuff. I said in an apocalypse, and this stuff will probably last a million years. It says original syrup, but of course it has not good for you ingredients, but I figure this will be shelf stable forever. And in an apocalyptic scenario, we might want some flavor on our bread or whatever. Just thinking, you know, crazy stuff. So then I got a really good deal on all of this pumpkin, but we need to start using through this. So I'm gonna bring 2 of them inside, and we're gonna be making some pumpkin breads for this pantry challenge. Let's see, over here, I've got some expired May 2021. Oh dear. So I've got some expired milks from 2021 was the last they were good. Here we've got some organic diced tomatoes, and then we've got sriracha, but we stopped eating sriracha because of all the inflammation. Okay, down here, I got more pumpkin. I got a lot of pumpkin. I have more than that inside, you guys. There was a time when there was a pumpkin shortage and I bought all the pumpkin. So I need to take this inside so I can use this. This is coconut cream. I use that for a variety of things that we cook. We have some random beans here. We've got some random chicken there. I also have some random Spam. And then over here, I've got some inexpensive salt. And then we've got more baby food and stuff like that. Okay, moving down here, this is where we have water stored. And then down here we have organic corn. Got our organic pinto beans, organic corn. We've got some toilet paper back there, water. We've got more water back there. And yeah, that does it for, oh, there's that jar of pickles I was telling y'all about. I said, I know I have a jar of pickles somewhere. There they are. And then of course we have our bag of potatoes here. So this is all of the outdoor storage, a little bit of coconut milk, not very much of that left, but that's all the food that we keep out in the garage. Oh wait, no, it's not. Okay, here on this bucket, we've got from the bottom to the top, that's what we have. All of these were done in the freeze dryer. And then on the bottom, the same thing. We just have a bunch of mixed mushroom blend, sun-dried tomatoes, smashed red potatoes, scallops with crab, lentils, and freeze-dried broccoli. So that's just a bunch of different meals in there for the apocalypse. Back here, we've got some strawberry plants I just got going. So just trying to keep those. See if we can produce some strawberries. So far, not this winter, but these will be ready to go when everybody else is producing strawberries. I will at least have these producing because our strawberry plants will not produce until June, July, August, if at all, because of how short our season is. So I thought I would get a jump start. And these were ones that I brought in. I had them in pots out in my garden last year, so I just brought them in the pots and put them in the swimming pool. And they've been dormant until before Christmas time. And right before Christmas, I started putting this light on them. And here we are, middle of January, and all of our plants, at least not all of them, but like this one is doing really well. I'm not sure what's going on back there. None of those have erupted yet. They might be, I don't know, they might have died because they might have gotten too dry. But all these other ones seem to be doing pretty well here with my little system. I plan to get some more lights, more grow lights, and maybe start some more plants. So this is how we eat our liver. Aaron's figured it out. It's really tasty and delicious. He makes it way better than I do. And I like mine cut up in like tiny pieces like that.
Yeah, baking it is the most efficient way in my opinion. Mess wise, taste wise. Like put some parchment paper down and it's easy clean up.
Let her rip on the pan, cookie pan.
Say, tell Daddy thank you for the liver. There you go.
How's that liver, Bobo?
That's Mama's.
Num num. Liver
next.
Baby. Alright, it's kind of dark in here at the living room table because we just have natural light in the house right now, but Aaron made me some eggs this morning and that piece of liver. I have a hard time eating liver, so I gotta really mask the flavor myself. Oop, there's the light. Breakfast is served. Dinner of champions. I don't show usually lunches, but for lunch we often have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And this is homemade elderberry jelly. We also have some cranberry sauce that I canned up, and then we use sun butter because I have a daughter who has an intolerance or a peanut allergy. Does terrible things to her. Poor thing, bless her heart. So I'm just gonna make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, straightforward, or not peanut butter and jelly, sun butter, jelly sandwiches for all the kids with homemade bread. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, we've got strawberry, marionberry jam or jelly or something. I got a whole bunch of jams and jellies. They're in a box. They're actually in this box, and I need to get them out of there and put them on the shelf. But I didn't have room on my shelf, and now that I'm doing the pantry challenge, I've got room down there. I've got room back there. I've got room there. And usually this shelf, like I don't have room and I'm stashing jars other places. but I do have a little bit of room, so I can start moving out my jams and jellies. And right now we're going to use this for peanut butter and jelly. All right, so there we go. I just got that opened up. That was from this past summer. Oh my goodness, you guys. I remember the berries were so insanely expensive that I decided to make them stretch, and to make them stretch, I just made a bunch of jams or jellies or preserves or whatever this is. So we're gonna try this out on my bread and see. I might taste a little bit on a spoon. I don't think we've had one of these yet. We'll add these to yogurt, and I actually have some plain yogurt and I have some vanilla yogurt that this would be so delicious on. So we'll do that with some granola as well. That would be a real tasty pantry meal. Smashed burgers on, these are the fluffy pancakes that Erin made. And you saw briefly earlier in this video when I showed you my freezer that I got out this milk, and I put the milk in this plastic container to protect it, because you can see on the side right there it was splitting from the freezing process. It ended up not leaking at all, and so I'm just going to shake this up. There's still some solid ice in there, but I'm just going to try to shake it up as best I can to get it all mixed up. And then Hagen loves milk the most, so she's going to taste test it for us and let us know, because she has a good milk palate. Lemon and creamy is that there? Right? Tastes normal? Tastes just like it does when it's not frozen. And this is from November 29th, 2022. Alright, Erin's got a roast going. We're doing elk roast. It's that roast that I got out of the freezer and showed you all that we were getting into the fall. He's got some onions in there, some garlic powder, some carrots. He's going in with all the good stuff. Woo! Yummy! Coat it. Coat it up. Some salt. We're going to slow cook it for longer. Right now it's slow cooking for 4 hours because I just taught him how to use an Instant Pot and I forgot to tell him to adjust the time, and I don't know, I can't adjust it now. So what we'll do is we hit the slow cook button, and then we bring it down to less, and then we pump up the hours before it beeps, and we'll go 8 hours for this, just to slow cook it on low. Yeah, and he's gonna chop up these potatoes and add those potatoes to it. While Erin has dinner going, so he's getting that in the slow cooker, I'm gonna make probably a double batch of banana waffles. I'm gonna decrease the eggs though, because eggs are really expensive right now, and we're trying to stretch them out through this pantry haul, and I've got probably, I don't know, we might have like 8 to 10 dozen in the fridge right now. That will not last us very long. So we're gonna stretch this. I'm gonna do 4 eggs for the double batch, and then hope that makes it well enough. But we're gonna make this dairy free, so we're gonna use coconut oil, and we're gonna use canned milk. I have canned milk and I have powdered milk, but we're trying to save our fresh liquid or fresh milk that we have in the fridge and freezer for the kids to drink. So I'm gonna bust into my canned milk as part of this pantry challenge. I'm debating, like, am I gonna use, right now I would have to make the powdered milk, so I'll just go ahead and use condensed milk and water in this recipe, and I'll show you guys what I do for that.
I was on a plane to California. I had all the time I'd ever need. Did you even know I was looking for you? I think that I was hiding in between. How long, how long, how long did you wait for me? How long, how long, how long did you really need to figure it out? I got in a cab when I first got here. Take me to the only place I know. Listen to the people that I found there. If you ever see her, let me know. How long, how long, how long did you wait for me? make it if I ran. Then I saw you walking out the back door, hand in hand with another man. How long, how long, how long did you wait for me? Yeah. How long, how long, how long did you really need to figure it out? To figure it out? To figure it out? Did you figure it out? To figure me out? I was on a plane to California. I had all the time I'd ever need. Did you even know I was looking for you? I think that I was hiding in between. How long, how long, how long did you wait for me? How long, how long, how long did you really need to figure it out? I got in a cab when I first got here. Take me to the only place I know. Listen to the people that I found here. If you ever see her, let me know. How long, how long, how long did you wait for me? Oh yeah. How long, how long, how long did you really need?
Okay, we got waffles with bacon and eggs.
You want one?
Did Daddy make elk roast? Nana. Alright, there's the elk roast. Elk roast is all done. We've also got our potatoes and carrots and stuff in here. Delicious, delicious. Alright, so this is the night before. I want to make some sourdough English muffins, so I'm getting that ready, and I'm also going to feed my starter. At this point, I no longer measure things. I go based off of the thickness of the leaven that I am trying to make. And what the leaven is, it's what you make the night before for your bread or for whatever you're going to make, your waffles, your pancakes, your English muffins, your hamburger buns, your brioche, you name it. A lot of times you have to start out with either a bunch of starter or you have to have your flour fermented overnight. So that's what this process does. It ferments the flour overnight, and this is how thick I like this batter for my for the English muffins. And then over here we're adding equal parts flour and water, but again I also go based off of the consistency of the batter, and it's okay if it's on the a little bit on the thicker side. Oftentimes the bacteria and yeast will break down the flour and produce a little bit of liquid, so that helps to add some moisture to your sourdough starter. Both of these are going to sit out on my countertop. I like to leave them right here on top of my dishwasher on that portion of my counter because it's nice and warm, and that helps for the bacteria and yeast to be nice and happy and cozy and warm, so that this can double. And look, it has doubled in my covered bowl. And so then I'm gonna mix these up. I have the recipe for you on my channel, so I will link that down below, but it is a sourdough English muffin recipe, and it's basically just, you know, that leaven that I had with 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of honey, and a few teaspoons of baking soda. So yeah, just check out that recipe because like I said, at this point in time, I have everything kind of by memory and I measure by my heart, by my intuition. So a lot of times, like, I can give you guys measurements one time and then I'm going to forget them, and I'm just going to make the food how I know how to make the food, without following an exact recipe. Sometimes that bites me in the bum, but for this recipe, it actually works pretty well because it's very simple, and these English muffins turned out beautiful. I went ahead and made a big batch of these, and we will eat on these for the next day or two. We use them as buns for sandwiches, for hamburgers and things like that. We did use Aaron's fluffy pancakes he made last week for those smash burgers that he made. And this is a different recipe. This is an English muffin recipe. It's not fluffy pancakes. It is a more dense with nooks and crannies and all the deliciousness. So we're going to use some of these this morning for egg sandwiches. And then the other ones we're going to save and use for kids' lunches, for salami sandwiches or sun butter jelly sandwiches. Next up, I am going to make marshmallows for some hot chocolate. I recently saw this on the Three Rivers Homestead. Jessica made marshmallows for her family, and she made it look so easy. I guess I always thought making marshmallows was a painstaking task, but it is so simple, you all. All you do is dissolve 3 tablespoons of gelatin into a cup of warm water. You put that into whatever mixer you have, or you can do it by hand with a whisk or with an egg beater or electric mixer. So you get that going until it starts to be foamy, and then you add, she said, 1 cup of sweetener, either honey or maple syrup. I'm going to use about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of this maple syrup, and it could have used more maple syrup. I will say it could have been a little bit sweeter to get that nice marshmallow taste, but this is going to whip up in here for a few minutes. I stopped it at one point and scraped down the sides, and then when it's all done, you want to make sure that you stop it before the gelatin starts to set. Your gelatin will set. I'm adding just a splash of vanilla here, but your gelatin will set while you're mixing it. It will try to, especially if your bowl is cool. And that's what started to happen here. You can see it's starting to set, so I should have dished this out into a container. But we're just going to serve it up out of this bowl, and then I'll put the leftover into a Tupperware container. Next up, I am making some hot chocolate, and I am down to my last bit of hot chocolate in my mason jars, my hot cocoa mix.
Okay, so this is
There you
marshmallow whipped
see
cream.
the marshmallow whip, and you
on
could
top of
actually
their
make
hot
it into like
chocolate in
nice
just a
square
minute.
marshmallows if you wanted to. Like I said, you just put it in a baking pan and let it cool, and you can slice those up. But next up, we're going to make some hot chocolate or hot cocoa mix, and I did share this with you all on my Azure Standard haul, so I'll link that down below as well. But I'm just going to throw all the ingredients into the jar. I failed to film when I added powdered sugar, but this recipe does call for powdered sugar. I'm using A2 whole milk powder from Azure Standard, and I'm also using the Fair Trade organic cocoa powder from Azure Standard. And then we're going to use just some normal cane sugar, powdered sugar that I got from one of the grocery stores around here. And that makes a really simple cocoa powder. It saves us a lot of money, and I'm using quality ingredients. There's no seed oils or anything weird in this hot cocoa mix. It's just sugar, cocoa, and powdered milk. There are recipes out there that call for carnation creamer. I would not use that because that is full of nasty seed oils. And I mean, just look at the back of the container. I know the last time I was in the store, I was curious, so I looked at the back of the container, and it's quite nasty, the ingredients in the carnation powdered milk or the powdered creamers. So I would advise you guys to read your labels. And yes, there are exceptions to the rule. There are things you're going to see in my house that are processed. But we try to limit those things, and we really try to make things from scratch. So now that I know how to make marshmallows and it's super easy, I'm going to be doing this from now on, and I'm not going to be buying marshmallows from the store anymore, which is perfect timing because we are fresh out of marshmallows for my kids' hot chocolate. They drink hot chocolate almost daily. So I'm going to need this whip recipe mix ready in my pocket, and I just so happen to have plain gelatin here at home. So I'm able to make that, and you can get plain gelatin from your store and make your own homemade marshmallow cream or marshmallow whip. It's good stuff. It'll be more of a cream, I would imagine, if you added a full cup of honey or maple syrup. But like I said, I only added about a 1/4 cup of maple syrup to mine. So this 5-pound bag of cocoa powder fit in to, I would say it fit into 4 half-gallon mason jars. But the way that I did it, I added some to my hot cocoa jar, and then I'm going to fill up another jar in addition to these in just a minute. But I'm not going to show you all of them because life gets crazy and hectic. But just rest assured, if you get a 5-pound bag of cocoa, your best bet is to put it in a 2-gallon bucket if you have one of those. I didn't have an extra one, and so here I am just making a huge mess of cocoa powder all over my kitchen for you guys and for us. So we're going to have this cocoa powder for brownies, for hot cocoa mix, for all the delicious things. And next up, I'm going to make the kids a snack to go along with their hot cocoa. On this particular evening, we have already had dinner, and they always want something to eat in the evening after dinner. It never fails. So we're going to make them some popcorn. I'm going to add some nutritional yeast, some real Redmond's real sea salt, and some olive oil so it all sticks to this popcorn. And then they're going to have this popcorn along with their hot chocolate while they sit at the table. Popcorn is a great snack. It is inexpensive. You can make it real simply on the stove or in one of these cool popcorn makers. My neighbor actually gave this to us last year when we helped out her daughter. She dropped by and gave us a popcorn maker and a bunch of popcorn. So we have been making popcorn as one of our pantry snacks ever since. All right, now it's time to restock the maple syrup because I didn't have enough to make that marshmallow whip, and we are running low or nearly out of honey. So we're going to be using maple syrup in place of that, and I have this large gallon jug that I got from Azure Standard. You have to keep the large jug refrigerated, so we have room in our outside refrigerator or our garage fridge for that. And then I'm adding the marshmallow whip to my nighttime tea. You guys know I love my nighttime anti-stress tea. It helps me wind down. It has valerian in it and chamomile and all the stress-reducing herbs that this mama needs. I know someone said that I shouldn't be using celestial seasonings for my tea because it's loaded with pesticides, but I minimize toxic exposure everywhere I can. And then, you know what, there's just some things that I'm going to be like, okay, I'm not going to stress about that. I'm not going to fret over everything being organic. I think that's unhealthy to have a mentality where you are strict, because I was strict to the point where I limited myself to a point where I was malnourishing myself. So I'm no longer that way, and I don't restrict myself to such extreme organic only, no pesticides, no GMOs. I'm careful, and we do everything in moderation in this house. All right, so that was that night. Settled down, went to bed, and early the next morning, I just want to get the laundry knocked out before I get my day going. So I wanted to share with you all a little bit about joyful homemaking and how I get through these kind of tasks that can seem daunting or just, you know, not very fun. But I find a pretty window with a pretty view, and I set up my basket in front of that window, or maybe I'll watch a show in my bedroom on my bed and fold laundry. But on this day, I chose to do it in front of my windows so that I could look outside. The deer were walking around. I'm keeping my eye out for those bucks we saw earlier. And I'm just making it a joyful, calm, peaceful experience for myself. I find it very therapeutic to fold and put away laundry. The kids help out a lot with their own. So oftentimes I just have my laundry, the baby's laundry, and kitchen bathroom towels that I take care of. The kids often help with those too, but on this day I'm trying to get everything done because I'm going to give the kids a haircut. I'm going to do a bunch of other things on this day, so I just wanted my kitchen down to ground zero is what I call it, and that is when everything is cleaned and spotless and done and put away. This allows me to focus on other things like spending time with my family and enjoying trimming my boy's hair, and my husband, he wanted his hair cut as well. So getting those tasks done, all the laundry's put away for the week, the kitchen is buttoned up, and we are going to enjoy the rest of this day. I want to thank you so much for joining me for this part of the pantry challenge. I appreciate having you all here. If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button. I have a giveaway coming up soon. You don't want to miss out on that. And I hope to see you all again soon. Until next time, bye.